Hi friends, my name is Victoria. I am a Chernobyl stalker, and I am near Pripyat, in the small village of Novoshepelichi. Now we will go down into the cellars, where there are forgotten things of people who were evacuated many years ago. But first, we will also visit the abandoned apartments in these buildings. A creepy basement in Chornobyl, where people forgot their belongings back in 1986. We look into the dark corners. What can we expect here? People, animals, radiation, treasure, or just eternal oblivion? The second part of the review of the findings in the abandoned basement of a former residential building in the village of Novoshepelichi, Chernobyl exclusion zone. It is located not far from the ghost town of Pripyat, but visitors come here infrequently. The village is small, but the houses here are very well preserved, as well as the contents of the basements. We go downstairs to see what is left 39 years after the Chornobyl accident. And the complete evacuation of the population. The apartments of these houses are relatively empty, but if you go down to the basements, you will think that someone still lives here. It's simply impossible to see anything like this in the Chernobyl zone now, as all the things were either buried or taken over by looters a long time ago. But here it is. Before the accident, the large basement of the abandoned house served as a good and very spacious storage room. Each apartment had its own personal box where bulky items, canned food, or food for the winter could be stored. Surprisingly, the basement in the settlement is very dry and the radiation level is normal. If you clean it up, you can continue to store your things here, figuratively. In these storerooms you can find anything you want. All things have come a long way since the Soviet times, a moment of accident and complete oblivion. On the floor we see the remains of a baby stroller, and in this cell we found not only things, but also photos belonging to former residents of Novoshepelichi. This basement is just overflowing with things that seem as if they were just put together yesterday.
This is a great rarity. To go down into any cellar in Pripyat, you will need a flashlight. Go carefully, in case someone jumps out, so as not to trip. In the basements of abandoned houses is still part of the network of communications. If on the street the pipes have long been dug up, then inside the buildings they are still there. Of course already unusable, but still. I also noticed that the basements in Pripyat are often clean and dry, unlike residential buildings in our cities. A huge and scary basement can be creepy for anyone, if you remember where it's located. By the way, there are no rats or mice here. At least I didn't see any. Carefully we go on. Here we see that the basement is flooded with water, and because of that the owner's shelves are rotten and broken. Dead city, empty streets, uninhabited houses, discarded furniture, and complete absence of life in a place where 38 years ago life was blooming. Chernobyl, the Chernobyl accident. Almost 50,000 people fled their homes, leaving Pripyat to nature and radiation. Almost 14,000 apartments and institutions were emptied in one moment, on April 27, 1986. After the accident, the radiation cloud lingered over Pripyat for a long time. In the first months after the evacuation, Pripyat was full of abandoned pets. Their fur absorbed radiation perfectly, and they were not allowed to take the animals with them. Subsequently, the dogs became feral, gathered in packs, and began to attack people. A special operation was organized to shoot them. The cellars of Pripyat did not live long without care. In the years of mass looting, when communications began to be torn out of the ground and cellars, rainwater went there. The basements filled with moisture and water, but some underground rooms remained dry, and there lay things left by people. After the accident, the city of Pripyat was serviced by public utilities for a couple more years. Heating, water, and light were supplied. In the first winter of 1986 to 1987, as a result of lack of residents and control, there were minor accidents in communications, which provoked floods and burst pipes. Later, the supply of heat and water stopped altogether. Over time, all the drainage systems fell into disrepair. Looters tore off the batteries, and the police could do little to help. Later, most of Pripyat's basements were flooded. What we found in the basements of the houses of the former settlement in Chernobyl surprised us very much. It used to be thought that the liquidators had buried everything they could, but we were wrong. The apartments of these houses are relatively empty, but if you go down into the basements, you will think that someone still lives here. To see something like this now in the Chernobyl zone is simply impossible. Long ago all things were either buried or taken over by marauders.